But Alexander Zaloni signs for 3 years, 123. No, I'm just playing.
Okay,
TJ
Watt.
What? Wait a minute.
TJ Watt signs.
Oh, if
3
that
years.
actually happened, I'd be pissed.
Oh,
Even if Alexander's only being here for $41 million a year. But go on.
3 years, $123 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is probably the worst kept secret in all of the NFL. We all knew that he was eventually going to wind up back there, even though he ignited a little bit of something when he talked about, if I could dream a little bit, if it wasn't here, maybe the Lions. And I know that, our social team, to the chagrin of, not to the likings of one Mr. Flannel Sam, you know what we did with that, man. And the quote went out there, and for just a little bit, people had their fever dream. But ultimately, he goes back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they made him the highest paid non-QB in NFL history, man.
Yeah, them $40 million a year contracts for edge rushers. His AAV passes Myles Garrett's, who signed a 4-year, $160 million early in the offseason by exactly $1 million. And I'll tell you what, just a side note before we dive into it and what it could mean for a Hutchinson extension. The Raiders, even though they're not a smart organization, they're looking pretty smart now for locking up Max Crosby through 2029 for only $35.5 million a year. And the 49ers, even though they have to do a little bit of a retooling, had a down year last year. We'll see how they bounce back with guys coming back. Nick Bosa is locked up through 2028 at $34 million a year. That's looks like a pretty nice bargain now, like how we look at how for example, the Goff and Amon-Ra contracts have aged. It's the same thing with the Crosby and Bosa contract, and I have a feeling that Aidan's won't be $35 million. It'll probably be at least $42 million a year. So, yeah, his agent and him were very, very happy that Watt got his deal.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure, man. That's a pretty penny, and that agent he's cashing his own checks this morning too, like agent fees to the bank. Yes, and hey, why not? When you got an agent like that, that's probably the best bill that you love cutting a check for, man.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, man, you got me $40 million.
Yeah, you can take four. You can take four.
Hey, here's your regular fee. You got kids, man.
Right.
It's like, hey,
what school they go to?
Hey,
get them a better school here.
Get them a better school.
Wait, they already got Cranbrook?
Cranbrook. What's that? Where is that at? I don't know where that is at.
That's a lot of money. And just in contrast, you see the way that Brad Holmes is moving. He's locking up his own homegrown guy. So I don't have a problem with this. I think that this is where you're going to see the Lions approaching, setting the market. We just saw Kirby He set the market for the safeties. And so I do believe that that's the recipe for success when you are getting your cornerstones within your franchise.
Yeah, and the thing that's interesting to me, shout out JJ Watt. I swear if this guy even lets me begin to reach for my wallet at dinner. Yeah.
Right. That's funny.
See? We was just talking about that.
JJ Watt's probably like, I never got a contract like that. Even though if contracts would have been inflated during JJ Watt's time, he would have been at the time.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, TJ Watt might end up being a better player all time because I'm thinking he might have more longevity, but prime JJ Watt was special. Mm-hmm. I know we're all old enough to remember in this room, but some of the young guys in this building, like the Justins of the world, they might remember a little bit, but prime JJ Watt was maybe the best player in football for a couple of years.
Something tells me Justin watched some film though.
That's
no,
true.
JJ Watt and Jared Allen were two players who I respected, and I absolutely hated them, especially Jared Allen.
Yeah. Thank you. That mixing bowl. I get so bad.
It was because he would work us too.
I know.
He would work us, but
I hated the celebration. I hated that.
I hated that so much.
JJ Watt, man, them dudes are I agree with you on that one, man.
Yeah, but it's funny to me. I mean, not funny, but just interesting that Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, if this is the market for edge rushers, they have certainly earned their contracts. And I don't think that either of them are going to fall off. Like, for example, Garrett's under contract for 4 more years or through 2030. Actually, longer than that. It's an extension, but he's under contract through a 2030. Watt through a 2028. I think that they're both going to be still great players through the end of their contract. Maybe Garrett will fall off a little bit in 2029 or 2030, but he's such a physical specimen that who knows. Aidan, you can argue that by his body of work, even though I'm the biggest Aidan Hutchinson stan probably in the world, he's my favorite athlete, you could still argue that, I don't know, Has he necessarily earned a $41 million a year contract? You could argue no. However, contracts are for what you think they are going to do. And if you ask me right now, in the next, let's say, 5 seasons, who has the most production of the three, I would go Aidan Hutchinson. I think all of his best ball is in front of him. And how old is he? He's going to be 25 in August. Man, this guy could be wrecking the league for 8 more years, and I expect him to.
Question for you.
Yes.
Do you think he's going to reset that market?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. 100%. 100%. Just because of what he can do and what we expect him to do. Like I said, he still hasn't had that full season domination where you're talking about him as Defensive Player of the Year. He was about to, I think, but obviously injuries betrayed him. And obviously, I have a ton of respect for what he did in the 2023 season. But last year was supposed to be, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but it's, last day of Woo, why not? Last year was supposed to be his magnum opus, his masterpiece. And unfortunately, injuries betrayed him. Hopefully this year, though, he can get back on that track and be a guy who we look at as potentially Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's going to get a crack at least 3 to 5 of them things.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, shout out to intern Noah just walking into the building. When you look at this thing, I do believe you're going to see a couple of different players on the Lions setting the market just like this. When you're talking about T.J. Watt, and then when you're looking at just the edge position in particular, I expect Aidan Hutchinson after maybe about the first couple weeks, first couple games. You experience, getting that game action, taking those first kind of hits from the, in the trenches against the offensive line and such, and getting into the backfield and maybe over pursuing and then realizing, my leg is all right. Yeah. I think after he gets that down mentally, and that's one of the things Dr. Pierce says he's going to have to overcome. And he does believe that the type of guy he is, the attitude that he carries, the type of human that Aidan Hutchinson has shown himself to be, that he's not going to be down too long mentally. As soon as he gets out there and gets in the game action, he does expect him to hit the ground running. And I expect Aidan Hutchinson to be Aidan Hutchinson. It's all that we know. We've seen other players come back from injuries and get right. I expect him to not just get right, but to still be that guy that we saw go out last year and was on a historic pace, in my opinion. I thought he was going to set the league on fire. That's why I always chuckle whenever we talk about Aidan Hutchinson and we think about at that trade deadline, at the halfway point, when they were giving out their half-point Defensive Player of the Years, and he was still like top 5 in sacks.
Right.
He was still up there for a long time.
That was crazy, bro.
And I guess the question is, and we don't know the answer, time will tell, do the Lions get this done soon, or do they wait for him to get a couple games under his belt? Because if Aidan Hutchinson comes out, let's just say, either against the Packers or against the Bears and puts up like 2 sacks and is wreaking havoc all game, I mean, it'll obviously show everybody that he's like back. But I think everybody expects him to be back already. It was a clean break. It wasn't anything like ligament tear or anything that you think is going to linger for a long time. If you were told right now, 5-year, $42 million a year extension, how would you feel about that? Because I would take it right now.
5 years. You said $42 million.
$42 million a year
For Aidan Hutchinson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they did that right now, I'd be like, great. That's probably what it's going to take right now.
I feel like if he plays out this season, it's going to be more.
Right.
Which is why maybe you should just do it now.
It's done now.
I mean, because you're talking about another year and what you're going to get. Whether he's going to perform. But you're also going to get this compounded with that announcement of what? Oh, wow, the NFL found more money. The cap is going up again.
Yeah.
Once that happens, Aidan Hutchinson is going to be able to say, well, I think I'm entitled to
50.
my percentage of the cap. If the cap space goes up, then that dollar amount goes up. And I do believe he's going to earn at least the 42. That 42 next year got inflation. Get it done this year.
All of his best football is in front of him. All of it. He is 25 years old. I believe Garrett and Watt are both in their early 30s or a late 20s. I'll fact check that in a second. It could end up, we could be looking at like a 5-year, $42 million potential contract as a steal. It sounds absurd right now. Who would have even thought, I don't know, a year ago, $40 million a year contracts for edge rushers? Well, the market's been set. It is what it is. The Cowboys are going to deal with the exact same thing with one Mr. Micah Parsons. But unlike the Lions, they don't have as smart of a front office. I think that's a clear, and I don't think that they have as much around Parsons. So,
and one more thing though, think about this. It's not just that they don't have that much around them. And it's not just that the front office isn't that smart, but isn't it easier giving and handing out these contracts when you know, though, your team is a Super Bowl contender?
Yes.
That's way different, because when Kirby got that money, we were like, yay! Yeah. But think about if we were going nowhere fast. We'd be like, whoa, wait. And so I believe when you look at what Brad's doing, yes, that front office has been very, very smart at identifying all this talent that's setting the market, and Aidan will set the market. I'm just putting that on wax on our last show today. He's going to set that market at edge. He's going to get a higher AAV than TJ Watt, and I believe he's going to earn that on the field this year too. So they've done what they've had to do, and it just makes it that much easier a pill to swallow when you see these things. And you know, when we're sweating bullets about what's up with Enzo and things like that, sometimes there are casualties. We don't know quite if Enzo's going to be that, but we know that there are going to be some casualties out there. It was crazy to see, you know, Carlton Davis go out there and talk about, y'all want to be here, Dan Campbell is the man, but casualties, man.
Yeah. He went where the money's at. The Lions, I don't think we're going to pay him what the Patriots did.
But it's because of how smart Brad Holmes has been, and to back up your point, in ways that I don't know quite that the Dallas Cowboys have been.
No, and with the Cowboys, they're kind of, I don't want to say that they're effed, but I mean, I guess you can say that. They have to do this with Micah Parsons. What would they be without him? They could end up being in like a full-blown rebuild, and I don't know if they necessarily want to do that. But with him, given what's around, not because of Micah Parsons, given the entire infrastructure of the Cowboys, we expect their ceiling to be something like 11, 12 wins and a first-round exit. Obviously, things can happen, and if the Cowboys get in the dance, theoretically they could make a run, but it hasn't happened since before people who work here were born, literally. Like prominent people who aren't 12 were born, like Justin, for example. Was Chase born? I think before Chase was born. Chase isn't young. I mean, he's younger than me, but he's like late-ish 20s.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was on one of the more mature youths that we got here, man.
Yes.
Shout out to Chase, man. But Weezy D313
well, Weezy D313 is doing
you
what
see him,
Weezy
right?
does.
You see him, right?
While he like worships his Marcus Davenport mantle. Trade Hutch, right?
Yes, he said,
hey!
I still don't understand why we don't have the leverage and why Hutch isn't taking a discount. He costed us a Super Bowl.
Oh, he did.
You can get at least 3 first rounders.
He broke his leg.
Oh, what did Marcus Davenport do last year, big dog? What did Marcus Davenport do last year?
He did shit.
He did nothing. I was more impactful on last year's Lions team than your boyfriend, your idol, Marcus Big Dab. Big Dab. That's your name for him. Damn it, Weezy, you got me today. I'm on last day.
Your sweet meat.
What was that on? What was that? I think I remember this on Skip Bayless's last day on First Take. Skip was still like talking about LeBron, and then Stephen A. Smith was like, on your last day?
Oh yes, bring the bat out.
Oh, God. Because I'm fired up, Willie. Fired up, man. Gotta have the bat, man. Hey, shout out to Greg 2025, Greg. I love this. Hey, I shout out to the Shaquille Oatmeal. He says, bro, I am going to miss these. Jonathan Lord, he was keeping time. 33 minutes in, Flannel Sam.
Hey,
Thank you.
And all right, we've got.
I hope Weezy is like somewhere smiling right now.